welcome to my channel. Now this is a really different kind of video for me to make. It's not something I would usually do, and I wasn't gonna do it, but then I had to think about it and I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna put it out there because I really think it should be said. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, Freelee the Banana Girl blocked me from her Instagram. Now this is like a small thing in the world and who really cares? But then I remembered that when I first found out about Freelee, I did like loads of research on her because I wasn't really sure what I thought, and I found out she was embroiled in a really huge battle with some other YouTubers. She was saying someone was trying to take down her channel, and a lot of people were calling her a bully, and she was really harping on the fact that her freedom of speech was being taken away. And I just thought it was really kind of ironic for someone who made such a point of having a right to the freedom of speech to block someone. A little bit of background information: I didn't troll, I wasn't hating, I didn't say anything rude or disrespectful at all. I'm not someone that ever comments on people's stuff unless it's to compliment them, and anyone that has followed me for a long time knows that I'm true to that. And I never really get involved in like stuff online and stuff like that because I just feel that there is like no point for it, and we shouldn't comment unless we've got something nice to say or something uplifting. Not that I said something non-uplifting, but basically I was on her Instagram. I follow her because I love learning about different approaches to health and nutrition, but there's a lot of what she says that just kind of like doesn't seem very authentic to me, or sounds a little bit dangerous, seeing as she's got such a big following. There's something about her that I find a little unauthentic, and I'm someone who is able, and I've like been learning about health and nutrition and stuff for so long, and I have quite a good understanding of social media and marketing, that I can kind of pick through and see what is calculated, what is bullshit, what is being said just for the hype and stuff like that. And I can also pick through the good information that she has and just like use the good bits that I want, and all of the stuff that I feel is a bit like, okay, you know, I don't need to use that. And I have no reason to be angry to her for those things I don't agree with. We all have opinions, that's great. But the reason that I commented on her page is because I was going through the comments, because I can see that a lot of people that don't really like identify with her, and then some people are just following her like in a crazy obsessive kind of cultish way and taking everything that she says as gospel. And as someone who has such a big following, and as someone who uses the fact that others have a big following and they should be socially responsible in her message, I kind of feel like she's a bit hypocritical, because she has a big platform and a big following, and she's not really like being completely transparent. And there's a lot of things about her message that are a little bit misleading, or a little bit like stuff like that. And I was reading through the comments and I saw so many people, especially like young women, because I was like going and checking who was leaving these like uber supportive messages, and they're so impressionable. And I know that it's taken me like the last 10 years to be able to sift through information and read between the lines, and I'm still learning how to do that. I'm still learning how to seep through the bullshit and the marketing and the commercialism of actually good ideas and products and ideologies. But I know that a lot of her followers are not really going to be able to do this, or are not as good at doing this, or don't even think of that. They just kind of follow her because they want her results, or because they're vegan. And I was reading through the comments and people were just like bashing each other and like saying defamatory things to each other in support of this girl Freelee. And I was like, wow, they are like blindly leading this chick who is like the biggest spokesperson for veganism at the moment, and she has breast implants and they're not vegan, and like no one's picking up on that. And that's fine, like I'm not against breast implants at all. I had a reduction and then I had an implant put in, so I've had a surgery, and I'm not even vegan, so I'm not like a militant about this, and I'm not upset that she has breast implants. But it's kind of like, how can someone be so militant vegan and have so many people following her and being so aggressive along with her? You know, there's clearly like flaws in what she's saying. If a big chunk of her is not, you know, clearly vegan, and she doesn't address that. And the thing is she doesn't leave any room for not being vegan. It's really like militant vegan styles, and a lot of her channel is based on calling out more famous YouTubers. And her whole premise is, if I call out a famous person, then I'll get the message heard to more people, which is true, but it also makes you more famous, and it also makes you have a better payroll because, you know, she's selling stuff. And so I left this comment on her Instagram saying, you know what, like, breast implants were tested on animals, and the anesthetic that is used to put you under actually is like derivative of eggs somehow, so they're not vegan. And it was not really like a comment for her, it was more of a comment for like her followers to see like, hey, we can take some of this chick's advice and we can learn from her, but we shouldn't take anyone for gospel because no one's perfect. I wasn't hating, I wasn't saying anything rude. I should have maybe said like, hey, just remember, everyone's human. Look, she's got breast implants. Maybe I should have added that into the message just to like make it super clear I wasn't trolling, but she blocked me within like a half an hour. And I was like, wow, this person who has built her whole campaign for this like YouTube war was the fact that freedom of speech is a core value of like us in the Western world, and things like YouTube and free media and stuff like that. That was like really, her message on freedom of speech felt like as strong as her message on veganism. And I thought, wow, for someone who's based their whole kind of online campaign on the freedom of speech, to block someone for stating a fact, not in a hateful way, not in a disrespectful way, just in a like, hey, by the way, like, you know, this isn't vegan, maybe you guys should like chill out, blocked me within half an hour. Blocking a comment like that that states something about her isn't vegan, and I'll say why, because breast implants are tested on animals like every medical procedure ever. And the anesthetic, the #1 anesthetic that is used to put people under, it comes from an egg derivative somehow. So that's definitely not vegan. And I left the comment kind of mainly to her followers, as I said, because I see so many people following her blindly. And like, I know now enough how to kind of sift through information and brands and commercialism and marketing to kind of get the information I want. Like, even if I think Freelee is like not a very genuine person, or she has like an agenda, or some of what she says is bullshit, I can still take some of the stuff about her message that I think is really interesting and really smart, and I can apply that even if it's only 5%, because I just want to learn stuff. So even if I disagree with someone, or I don't like them, or I think they have an agenda, if they've got 5% of useful information, I'll just take that and disregard the rest, you know. And usually I would never ever comment on anyone's stuff. Anyone that follows me knows I never comment on anyone unless it's something positive or uplifting or nice, you know, and I never get involved in like stuff online with like negativity or disputes, because I just feel like it's not my style. And I guess I felt compelled to like leave this message, because I was just like, guys, come on, she's human too. Like, don't just idolize someone because they're like skinny and have a lot of followers. Like, you gotta look at things objectively, and people, I think, really do not look at things objectively when a little bit of fame comes into the game, you know. And the fact that she blocked me so instantly told me two things. One, she's got something to hide, and that she doesn't want to be transparent, she doesn't want to address it, she just want to pretend that that's not a thing. And it made me think, like, does she have a TV at home? Does she have stuff that contains gelatin in it? If she's like this vegan warrior, why isn't she talking about other things in life that are, you know, have things that are animal products? It's not just food, you know, veganism isn't just food. So yeah, I think, you know, that's clearly she's like hiding something. And secondly, it shows me that she doesn't want her followers to like question anything about her, which is a really dangerous characteristic of someone who's giving like nutritional and life advice. Because if her followers question that thing about her, maybe they would start to question her authenticity as a whole, and that would definitely damage her subscription and her sales. So anytime you see something like this, it's kind of like, that's a major red flag. And I wasn't going to make this video, but then I was really thinking about it, and I had a chat on Snapchat to my Snapchat fam, who are always really awesome, and like, don't give me shit about my rants, and they give me loads of feedback, and they were like, you know what, maybe you should make the video because maybe some people don't see it for what it is. And the fact that she blocked me really made my decision up on this person, that like probably a lot of her message is like driven by her whole like brand and making money. You know, my first problem with this person was the fact that she's telling everyone that you can get her figure and that you should completely cut out fats and protein. And anyone who tells you in nutrition you should completely cut out something like 100%, especially when it's not like something bad, but it's like protein and fat, which, you know, a little bit of these we need and they're in our body anyway, that's a red flag. To completely just say that this is bad, this is evil, is kind of like, oh, you know. And she says like, oh, you were told carbohydrates is bad, don't listen to that. But we should listen to you saying that protein is bad. Like, you know, it doesn't really match up some of her messages. So that was the first thing that made me a bit like, And then it was this whole thing that like, you can have the same kind of body as me. And I was kind of like, you know, I can see that. Like, I did a bit of research on how tall she is, stuff like this, and I watched other videos, and I watched videos of people that had made videos with her to really get like between the lines of her life. I was like, for one, you're 6 foot tall, so you have a very different body to a lot of people who aren't that tall. I'm 5'2", 2.5, you know, I'm never gonna have, and I have really narrow hips. So even when I was like really unhealthy and underweight, I never had like a massive thigh gap. My thighs still kind of touch because I have like these tiny narrow hips and short legs, you know. So body types are different. And she said a couple of times in her video, oh, you shouldn't all eat different, we're all the same. And it's like, I don't know what planet you're living on, but we're all really different in our little nuances. So there's that. So she's like this 6 foot tall person who rides a bike like 4 times a week or something, and she does this thing called fasted cardio. And fasted cardio is like an advanced form of exercise. It's something that you do when you're trying to like strip fat, and it's quite advanced. Like, some people don't even know what this is. I try to do it every now and then, and it's really tough. It's when you fast over the night, like when you sleep, and normally you break the fast, breakfast, and eat. And the idea is that you exercise before you have breakfast. So you're doing fasted cardio. So you're exercising on an empty stomach, so your body has no new energy to burn. It has to burn stores, so it's really, really good for fat loss. And she does this like 3 or 4 times a week, rides a bike for like 45 minutes or an hour before breakfast. That's intense exercise. Like, unless you're an athlete, for a normal person, that's pretty, like, that's not low to moderate. So even just the fact that she's doing like fasted cardio is so much more intense than like what normal people do. Like, a lot of people don't even go to the gym 4 times a week. And even though she says she was really fat, she was actually kind of like a normal chick with bits of skin places, bits of fat, you know. It wasn't like overweight at all. Yes, she might have been unhealthy, that's for sure, but like her body image thing is like really distorted. But what made me kind of go, hang on a minute, is I remember when I first found out about who Freelee was, because I'm not like I didn't really know who she was. I was actually researching like food, carbohydrates, stuff like this, you know, because I love to learn about nutrition and health and different approaches, because I think the best thing is to like take a little bit from everyone's approach, and like, because everyone has something that you can learn from. And then I found out who she was, and I was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. She's got like this massive vegan message, and she's got like a really fit body, maybe she's onto something. And then the more, and I tend to like really research things when I first find out about them, because I don't want to take them for face value. So I started doing like loads of research about her, and the more I kind of watched, the more I got like a funny feeling of like, there's something not super authentic about this person and their message. Like, I love that they're preaching veganism, because I think conscious living and respect and not abuse to the animal world is amazing. And in our modern society, we can totally live without most animal products if we so choose, you know. So it's not like a necessity anymore that we eat them. So I'm all about that. But there was something about her that just was like very disingenuous, and like the obsession with how skinny she is made me like very wary of nutrition advice she was giving, because that doesn't really match up with actual healthiness, being obsessed with having a thigh gap. I was kind of wondering, like, am I just like so cynical? I assume people are just like fame hungry and not genuine, or is there something about this person? Like, there was a few things that really made me like, oh, I don't know what I think of this person. Seeing her block me and be completely against her whole idea of freedom of speech was kind of like, okay, I think this person is a little bit full of shit, like some people say. I don't know if I think she's a bully, because on one hand, when people are totally disrespecting the earth and torturing animals and ruining, you know, the earth, maybe your message has to be a little bit aggressive, you know, like I kind of understand that. But I have also noticed that like the technique of calling out famous people to get your message heard by more people is also a great technique to get your name heard by a lot of people. And she said a few times in some of her videos, like, I'm not here to sell you anything, I just want to tell you what's worked for me. But you are selling stuff, like you are very clearly making money off of this from your YouTube and your ebooks. I know now enough how to kind of sift through information and brands and commercialism and marketing to kind of get the information I want. Like, even if I think Freelee is like not a very genuine person, or she has like an agenda, or some of what she says is bullshit, I can still take some of the stuff about her message that I think is really interesting and really smart, and I can apply that even if it's only 5%, because I just want to learn stuff. So even if I disagree with someone, or I don't like them, or I think they have an agenda, if they've got 5% of useful information, I'll just take that and disregard the rest, you know. And usually I would never ever comment on anyone's stuff. Anyone that follows me knows I never comment on anyone unless it's something positive or uplifting or nice, you know, and I never get involved in like stuff online with like negativity or disputes, because I just feel like it's not my style. And I guess I felt compelled to like leave this message, because I was just like, guys, come on, she's human too. Like, don't just idolize someone because they're like skinny and have a lot of followers. Like, you gotta look at things objectively, and people, I think, really do not look at things objectively when a little bit of fame comes into the game, you know. Anytime you see something like this, it's kind of like, that's a major red flag. And I wasn't going to make this video, but then I was really thinking about it, and I had a chat on Snapchat to my Snapchat fam, who are always really awesome and like don't give me shit about my rants, and they give me loads of feedback, and they're like, you know what, maybe you should make the video, because maybe some people don't see it for what it is. And the fact that she blocked me really made my decision up on this person, that like probably a lot of her message is like driven by her whole like brand and making money. Oh, there's something going on outside. I hope you can't hear that. Some people are just following her like in a crazy, obsessive kind of cultish way, and taking everything that she says as gospel. And as someone who has such a big following, and as someone who uses the fact that others have a big following and they should be socially responsible in her message, I kind of feel like she's a bit hypocritical, because she has a big platform and a big following, and she's not really like being completely transparent. So there was a couple of things that just made me like, oh, I feel this person is a little bit dangerous with her message. And then I saw her calling out people and being like, you have a responsibility, look at all the followers you have, don't be an evil person and eat animals. And it's like, okay, fair enough, but you also have a responsibility. Like, if you've got this whole message and you've got this whole like brand going on, and you've got like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of girls following you, you need to be transparent, man. So the whole point of this video is not to bash this person, because I actually think like some of her information is interesting. But the point is that I think it's really important that we check who we are idolizing and who we put on pedestals and who we take their word as gospel for and follow kind of blindly, without doing other research and finding out other information about the message that we're being sent. And even if she is a professional, even if you have like a professional person giving information, you've still got to like pick through and make sure you're getting the right information, because even doctors can be really wrong. Like, I don't know how many years ago they were telling us that cigarettes don't cause cancer at all. Like, that was just bullshit, and it was money driven, and it was ignorance. And that's like on a large scale. If you're following someone online because they look good, or they have a message that you like, or they have a lot of followers, just check like and do background research. You know, cross-check information, check the message that you're getting given, check what other people say about that message, not what other people say about the person, because that can have its own bad intentions when people talk about other people. But check, like, if someone's giving you this message of how to eat, check like what other people say about that way of eating, you know, to kind of see if like a lot of people agree that it's okay. Have there been studies done on it? If the person is sending you a message or selling you something, have a look at their lifestyle and their life and their body type and their skin type. Like if they're trying to sell you some cream that's like really good for them, check how old they are. Check, you know, do they live in a climate with sun? Check, are they wearing makeup in their, you know, these kind of things to kind of dissect the image, because it is so scary how cultivated marketing is. It's almost like brainwashing. Well, it is brainwashing when you've got advertising. And on a smaller scale, people on Instagram with a lot of followers who suddenly start like making money off giving advice, they are also curating it, and they're also showing you what you want to see, you know. There's a whole sleuth of like online trainers who will take your money and they'll train you through like messages and email. And this you got to be really careful with. Getting like diet advice from someone, be really careful with this, and be really careful where you give your money and what you implement into your life, because these can have like long-lasting effects on your health and your psyche, because it also doesn't feel very good to take someone's advice and get wrong results and feel like you're the problem. If you're watching this, just remember, no one is perfect. Dissect the information you're getting from this person, because the information is very distorted through her lifestyle and through her body and her exercise and what she eats. Be wary. Be wary, be wary, be wary. Question everything. Like, be a little bit paranoid when someone has like a huge following and a huge message and they're making money off of that. Be really careful with that. If you're looking at her body and thinking you're going to get that body, unless you've got a very similar kind of structure and genetic makeup as her and lifestyle, it's not going to happen, you know. So you've really got to dissect the information and just be really careful. Like, if you wholeheartedly fucking support this person and love her and are like going to war on the internet for her, just know that she's doing things that she reprimands others for, which is blocking freedom of speech and not being transparent. Like, her whole fight on YouTube with this other person was about the other person not being transparent and having an agenda and marketing her things to fit, to sell, when it wasn't really like and it's like exactly what Freelee does as well, you know. And I think a little bit of that is important. Like, you need to curate your brand and you need to like plan how you're gonna get things across so that people take them in and you reach as many people as possible. Like, that's normal, everyone does it, you know. It's marketing 101. That is marketing. You've got to market your message or yourself or your product to people. But her whole stance is that she's so, you know, this is just me, I've got nothing to hide, I think you got to be really, really careful. So that's all I wanted to say. I'll try and like make this short when I edit it. I'm not hating. I definitely think you should go and watch some of her videos, because some of what she's got to say is really interesting and thought-provoking. You know, her whole thing on how we are like scared of carbohydrates and we shouldn't be, very interesting. And I actually have changed how I've been eating because of this person. So I'm not hating on her at all. I just think we need to be careful with who we idolize, because that can be really dangerous. And like, don't go being all aggressive. And I mean, what am I saying? I left a comment that got me blocked, but it wasn't aggressive and it wasn't mean, and I would never like hate on someone else for their opinion. You know, we're all entitled to that. So yeah, that's my video. I'm sure I'll get a bit of hate from this if anyone actually sees it. That's fine. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you liked this video, if you'd like to see more of these videos, like talking videos, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, give me a follow. I promise I'm going to do some more videos soon. Hit subscribe, guys. All right, thanks for watching. Mwah.